Copying. We've all probably done it at some point in our lives. Looking over someone else's answers on a test.
Oh, you're cheating!
Repeating what your friend says to piss them off. Or mimicking the popular memes and trends you see online. In most cases, copying is nothing too problematic. Unless at school, I'd advise you to actually get your education. But these are more personal or fun situations. When it comes to profiting from copying in business and media,
They copy my whole flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
it has far more problems. There's a well-known dilemma in the content space of YouTubers copying other YouTubers, stealing other people's ideas and styles, taking others' content for their own benefit, or mimicking an entire creator's personality. These acts are seen as shameful, rightfully, and usually get called out en masse.
Nah, bro, get that shit out of here!
But there's a community where copying creates a far more controversial dilemma. VTubers, virtual entertainers who use animated avatars for content instead of their go-to faces, is a vast industry built around artistic creativity. But as an artistic industry, people have many principles around what art entails. People value not just good content, they value individuality and originality. And with thousands upon thousands of VTubers that see and perceive each other, and a lot of people wanting to do what works to get popular, things, whether intentionally or unintentionally, begin to overlap. There's a lot of drama surrounding copying, plagiarism, and stealing. VTubers harassed for having similar assets to others, a VTuber whose incessant imitations of one popular VTuber led to industry-wide chaos, or a VTuber profiting thousands off of a right they never owned. It is a wild dilemma, and I feel like yapping again. But before we get into that, I need to make something heavily clear. Do not harass, attack, or dig into anyone mentioned in this video. They'll be on some weird shit. So,
Let's talk about it.
hey yo, it's Taledo, that fallen angel kicked out of heaven. Get some snacks, get some water, get your friends homework answers, and let's get on to video.
I know you like my style. Nasty, gritty, looking pretty while I crack a smile.
Let's fall back a couple of years. Enter the late 2010s. With the rise of Kazuna Ai, the Four Heavenly Kings, and agencies like Hololive and Nijisanji dominating the market over everybody, VTubing became an established Japanese industry. However, in 2020, companies would venture to the West to capture that untapped English-speaking market, Hololive being the first to jump at that opportunity. And right from these VTubers' debut, plus lockdown forcing everyone online, the VTubing golden age began, bringing millions and millions of more fans to the medium. But it didn't just leave an impact on the viewers, no. The growth of VTubers worldwide led tens of thousands to see these VTubers say, I want to do that too, and jump into the growing industry as virtual performers, either by auditioning and joining a VTuber agency, or taking the path as an independent creator. So enter Person A, who wants to become a popular VTuber. Person A knows fuck all what it means to be a successful VTuber. Compared to typical content creation, this shit's all hella new and many people don't know what works. But these VTubers over here are blowing up and holding these audiences well with their personality, character design, voice, and style of content. Light bulb.
I think I'm about to steal!
A lot of aspiring VTubers would use popular VTubers as inspiration. Others would imitate the attributes that were best received in the market. And some would just copy what's trending. Gargur is known for her archetype, voice, and demeanor. Countless VTubers with the same concept. Nyanna's grew in popularity and she had a pink cat avatar? Wow, what a coincidence. I wanted to be a cute cat girl too. And they all are fucking pink! A new song is popular and people are covering it? You know that one anime meme that makes fun of how repetitive or unoriginal isekai anime are? The same bland everyman protagonist, the same fantasy setting, the same conventionally attractive supporting female cast. It's not that isekai anime are that unoriginal. Sorry, I just lied to your face. It's more that despite the isekai trope having so much potential, the market has trends. Market demand shows that consumers love those attributes previously mentioned. And these writers, whether authentic or not, are just filling that in with maybe a singular twist to be successful. So this applies to any type of media and entertainment, including VTubers, idol VTubers, gremlin VTubers, lewdtubers, and then later male VTubers. The demand for these VTubers was high and shit was trending. It's natural for businesses to supply and market themselves around what works for the target demographic. But despite a medium where you can be literally anything, everyone was hella similar, sometimes a bit too similar. Enter accusations of copying, plagiarism, and straight up stealing. Earlier, I mentioned the many instances of content creators copying and them getting called out. However, I purposely omitted the copying accusations with far less of a basis. Are you an energetic black VTuber that loves playing video games? You're a Corey X Kenshin clone. Do you play Minecraft but with unique challenges? You're a Dream clone. You edit your videos with reaction memes, sound effects, and media B-roll when talking about random shit? You're a Degenerosity clone. Wait a minute. Well, there are definitely people who copy these YouTubers even down to the script. Sometimes it's either a mere coincidence, a spin from inspiration, or just being a similar identity group. And in bad cases, people can get harassed or receive threats for it. So hear me out. I've seen my fair share of VTuber ripoffs, copying dramas, and people just stealing shit. Whether that's tracing, AI generation, or another VTuber's flow. I remember a VTubing app that got called out for having designs that were inspired from other agency VTubers. I remember when one of my mutuals, Kashin Shinobi, got his shit completely ripped by an Etsy artist. Like, who is this?
Who are these niggas?
VTuber copying and plagiarism drama goes literally everywhere, and we'll get into the really crazy cases of VTuber plagiarism in a bit. But first, Idol Corp's Yuko Yurei, before she, died, made a viral short where she banned the topic Gargura because people were attacking her design, voice, and mannerisms based on Gura's existence.
She is a big inspiration of mine. However, I am my own individual. I am Yuko Yurei, Idol Corp's Girls Boogie Blaster.
Also, she was definitely different from Gura in another way. We don't talk about the girlfriend experience members content. During her first months, indie VTuber Ray Bubbles got tons of shit due to being called a ripoff of Gargura. And niggas got me scumming my eyes like Mr. Krabs. She said Gura was an inspiration, her hoodie is similar. All I see is the color blue. I forgot when on her debut day, Gargura officially copyrighted hoodies. And even so, I don't see any point harassing anyone over it. Do y'all not see the big difference? Shawty out here with their chest out, then I look at Gargura like,
Charlie, that's not Earth, right?
Dude, that's completely flat. That's 100% flat.
Abelia, during her debut month, got a ton of shit for being a supposed Shylily clone due to, hey y'all, come look at this. Her bangs. Y'all care way too much. Both would a year later get 2.0s and new designs. And the factor for Abelia getting a new design was because she was tired of being constantly compared to Shylily. And let me list some other copying accusations I've seen. The constant Gatgo VTubers compared to Nyanners. Rini was compared to one of Nyanners' new models. Mariyumi was compared to not just Nyanners, but the white cat girl from Nekopara.
Hey, who man is this?
Niji-sanji's Watarai Hibari got compared to false ID and got some pretty rude comments because of it. We kinda got people on TikTok comparing him to Genshin characters when he came before Genshin.
You go ask Genshin why they modeled their characters after my fine.
I've seen other VTubers make posts about being compared to Nina Kasaka, and I wouldn't be surprised if some demon VTubers out there got compared to Iron Mouse. TLDR, whether it's coincidence or totally some inspiration, I'm not in the territory to care or even worse harass people over it. And it's gotten bad to the point that VTubers have had to ban other VTubers' names just to stop it from happening. But whether those allegations go anywhere or not, they don't really have any big community shaking effects. The drama fizzles out as it's from nobodies and people move on. Unless these comparisons get the attention of bigger content creators. In 2022, indie VTuber Shylily would make a grand model debut that blew her up in popularity. Something noticed about Shylily though was her voice.
What's your accent? I'm German.
She had a high German accent, a bit different from the stereotypical Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. The voice and accent would lead a lot of viewers to compare her to then VShoujo VTuber Vei, known for her British Polish accent.
Please don't clip it, please.
After incessant comments, replies, and comparisons on her stream, Vei would make a response about Shylily that would spark controversy.
Dude, quite clueless. You're fucking quite clueless. Please don't talk about that. It's creepy to me and I don't like it and I hate it actually because when you compare stuff from 4 months ago, that person did not sound like me. So now that they do, it's weird. So we don't talk about it. You ever decided my doppelgang channel? Bro, at that point, I'm at a point where it's like, you wanna settle for less? Go ahead. Or you got the OG.
Shylily would of course hear of this response and ultimately wish to keep drama at a low.
Just sunded it, ignore it. Yeah, just ignore it. No drama, only love, exactly. We need drama. You'd sound like Vei too. We don't even sound alike.
But people had opinions, of course. This would end up creating widespread criticism against Vei while raising Shylily up in popularity even more. Some viewers understood why Vei would be peeved about the constant comments about the subject, as that definitely fucks with your mental, but putting down Shylily was not the way of dealing with it. Others were happy to uplift Shylily and saw it as a promotion of shorts. But this drama is old as shit. Both of them are on good terms now, and I'm like 90% certain that things got handled privately. So again, no drama frogs, don't attack or be rude, it ain't that deep. So what if things don't sound similar, but look similar? Well, Lily, a newly debuted indie VTuber, would reveal her model on Twitter and had many people compare her to Powdur, a known indie VTuber, due to color scheme, species, white hair, purple horn, stuff like that. Powdur's subtweet being aware of the lookalike for a while now would also bring more eyes to the story. She would also post DMs from viewers mentioning the alleged lookalike to her. This has a hella winded situation I'll try to quickly summarize for how both sides feel. Lily defended herself with her side. She was well aware of Powdur during the design process, but had her own inspirations during redesigning, ultimately deciding, hey, I'ma do my own thing. Convos with her, Powdur, and the artist happened, but despite Lily explaining her deep personal reasoning for choices, Powdur ultimately didn't believe her, which felt crushing for Lily. Later, when Powdur was asked if there was anything about the work in progress that concerned her, she would cut combos. She's well aware of the designs being similar with color palette and lore name, but see both her and Powdur as different personalities and wishes to continue what she loves, which is streaming. Powdur would push out her side. She was long involved in the situation with her own pointers. After deliberation and worries about looking like the lookalike, she ultimately decided she was not comfortable with branding similarities, and they even asked around it from both sides. But the subject of changes didn't exactly go her way. Too many things overlap behind the scene for Powdur to be comfortable, and to her, them going forward without changing made her feel personally disregarded. Feeling powerless and stressed from the situation, she spoke with her designer and ultimately cut conversations for her sanity. There's a bit more, but TLDR, private convos resulted in no solution, shit went public,
And everybody's wildin' now.
There were two different points I saw. On one hand, several VTubers see their designs as expressions of themselves and are protective of it. Then why go with a design that'll get you constantly compared to someone else? I'd personally avoid that. On another hand, no one can claim a color scheme or species. Yuri doesn't own blue sea creatures or hoodies. Neanders didn't originate pink cat girls. I can't copyright Black Fallen Angels or my cat break jokes I use in every single video. At the end of the day, you just keep creating and let them deal with it. I couldn't care less to really pick a side, but when it comes to similarities, God, thank you for making me black. I automatically stand out in this space by merely existing. So that's how it should have ended, right? Oh yeah, I conveniently ignored what happened with the other Powdur responses. Okay, I will always say that feelings and emotions are valid, but what actions one does will get them judged by the mass regardless of them. Because to the audience, it ain't about you, it's about your message. It's what you do with those feelings. And I do get Powdur's frustration here, but
How does this turn into this?
some other tweets were made. Bitterness into bitterness into bitter replies into comments that f***ed her PR into another meme. Oh my god, stop talking! Please, shut up!
Please!
It became a hella yikes situation. People got very mad at her, and we're going to move on. Similar to the Vei and Shylily thing, both move on. Support whoever, don't be rude or weird to either. We talked a bit about Shylily earlier. The Orca Cat Mix indie VTuber has a uniquely soft German accent, also loves saying the phrase womp womp.
Womp womp, womp womp.
She grew into a hit icon in the scene. Hell, I made a video about it a while ago. So look at her, and now look at this.
He copied my whole f***ing flow!
And it lasted over 6 months. An indie VTuber by the name of Smo Lola would appear in late 2023. She would make shorts and clips when on November 23rd, certain comments would appear comparing her likeness to Shylily, her archetype, design, phrases, and most notably, swim outfit. Smo Lola would adamantly defend herself against the quote, drama Shylily fans had unfortunately brought to her. Push back on this later. Although you could definitely see similarities, it's not enough to dictate copying or plagiarism, so most people believe Smo Lola, gave her support from hate, and moved on. But when this first happened, two things stuck out to me. The names, Shylily, Smo Lola. But you know, it wasn't my business. On December 5th, she announced getting a 2.0 to avoid the Shylily allegations, and I thought, hey, with the new designs, I hope shit gets better for her. Then the copying drama came up again in January.
Again?
Again.
A weird account by the name of Emi Sakura V2 made a tweet calling out how Small Lola's work in progress model seemed like straight up copying Shylily's. This model having been leaked after Small Lola showed it on her then private stream. I say weird because this account, along with 2 other accounts that made negative posts against Small Lola, don't even feel like real people.
Whose mess is this?
All appeared in late September 2023, all based off cheap pre-made Etsy models, all have weird chat GPT-like bios and introductions, and then all hella inactive until January 15th to call out this small VTuber.
Who are you people?
Similar to last time, people sided and defended her, she got some followers out of it, and then I actually saw the leaked design.
Accounts that are stealing my content and posting it in a fake duet format.
And then, this drama came up again in June. 3 times over 6 months. You can guess I'm getting tired of it. But this time, the script completely changed. When the same instance happens so often with one specific person, people begin to question, how does this one person end up in the same thing so often? Once, it's a chance. Twice, it's a coincidence. 3rd time it happens,
What is up?
it gotta be on you. So people notice things they previously missed from before. Way too many similarities. The design, the tail, the ears, the outfit, the fish in the mouth, the glow-in-the-dark visual effect, the names, logos, VTuber hybrid archetype, and especially the silhouettes, cause tell me at first glance you tell these 2 apart.
They're the same picture.
Someone even recolored the model to look like Shylily. And then another thought appeared. Didn't she say at first nothing was similar or inspired by Lily? That she'd change her design into 2.0 to be less like her? How are we still here? This time she did admit there were similarities in designs, but loved her design regardless. However, saying hers is a direct ripoff of Shylily's is false and frankly rude. But why would you make these design choices if you wanted to move away from the comparisons? People started to switch sides, and then allegations came out about her voice. Some people believe Small Lola faked her voice in the present to sound more like Shylily, whose German accent is actually pretty damn uncommon.
You guys are stuck. I can't get you guys to move. I heard you like VTubers, and if you haven't noticed yet, I happen to be one.
I kind of hear a soft accent in the original, so I can believe that's her real voice. The constant other stuff didn't help her case though. The internet saw the overabundance of similarities, the acts of imitation, the sheer amount of coping, and the inconsistency of statements and potential lies, and it became a fucking shitstorm. Memes upon memes and public callouts about copying and plagiarism. Even her OG artist came in like, yeah, there's a good chance he wants to be Shylily. Some artists made free designs to maybe help her out. She was even interviewed by VTuber Alara to give her side, and somehow the interview made her look worse. But there was one thought in my head. I was aware of this dilemma from the beginning, but majority of the time I was wondering how Shylily felt experiencing all this. Because imagine you, Lily. Over 6 months, you wake up seeing everyone wilding and now your name getting thrown around. And eventually, Shylily made a response to the months-long drama.
I'ma just say it the way it is. I have nothing to say. Leave me be. I'm at a size where no matter what I say, it's wrong. If I express any amount of uncomfortableness, for the lack of a better word, I'm the big bad wolf. If I pretend like it's not a big deal and don't care, I set a new standard that is encouraging people to do the same, and it's kind of disrespecting a lot of artists because it's basically like, you know what? Fuck all the work, skill, and effort artists put out there. Just f***ing steal it. Who gives a shit? It'd be nice if people stop putting words in my mouth. I'm staying out of it for reasons, and I know my chat is not involved in it either. So if people could stop pretending like I've made any public opinions about whatever, or that my chat is doing anything to whomever, both of those are untrue. And I can prove it. That's all I wanted to say. I'm tired of that stuff being brought up. I don't like drama. Everyone who respects me knows that. So, yeah.
People consider this one of the best responses to a drama like this. And I definitely agree with the point around Shylily fans, because Shylily fans? Spreading hate and sparking drama? Do you know Shylily fans? They are way more concerned with looking up porn of their Oshi than spreading hate around her. But where did that leave Small Lola? Small Lola would make a final response, ultimately stating she could have handled a lot of things more maturely. By her words, she never intended to hurt people or start drama, but she emphasized that she was not a victim. Hate sucks and she wanted to vent, but she could have avoided this situation. She further states that her voice is not fake, as she previously spoke with low energy. She didn't expect a bunch of artists to give free designs when she asked for advice, and and it was never her intent to engagement bait or drama farm. However, on the topic of plagiarism, she admits she took too much inspiration and apologizes to Shylily and her other artists, stating she has plans for a new redesign. She first thought of graduating and leaving, then decided she would then go on an indefinite hiatus, and now she's back on Twitter under a new Abby and her account locked, and I'll respect that privacy. I see Smolola's case like countless inspiring content creators out there. They want to do what works and look up to the top performers, but end up imitating aspects of them too much, getting lost in the sauce, and caught for inconsistency, where whether they believe so or not, the mass will see them as the copycat. Ultimately, come to your own conclusion, but don't be bullying or harassing, that shit's lame as fuck. A VTuber by the name of Kaito popped into the scene showing off his model and announcing his debut for the summer of 2024. It looks kinda clean, right? But what if I told you this VTuber design was never his own?
You is in trouble.
A VTuber by the name of MeepSheepVT made a call-out post showing that his VTuber directly plagiarized a design by artist Yubei-san.
Hey y'all, come look at this.
Same hair color, same hairstyle, same scarf, same eyes, same flower assets, even the horns.
I mean, technically, you're me.
No. I'm me. You're
okay. Yeah.
I don't have nothing to do with the you was doing.
Plus, with no direct mention or credit to the original person or design, it paints a bad picture. Yubei-san, the original artist, would come out and say that Ume asked him to use the original artist. Yubei-san said,
No.
But yet, after seeing Kaito use the design regardless, Yubei-san asked to just change the floral and gold decorations. As you see, he didn't. Kaito would make a swifty response to the accusation, saying that he, quote, never stated that I did not use the artwork as a reference, interesting double negative, but would rather keep the discussions with the artists, but ultimately wanted no one harassed and taking responsibility. But later, even more would be exposed. Even after requests, he kept using the original artist's design. And after this, other artists came out with their own personal experiences with Ume not being the greatest customer, actively going against terms of service or standards to demand changes to keep it his way. After all that, bro, had to deactivate. But it gets even worse. You have to factor in that somebody else, an entire separate studio, was the one who created this VTuber model. Do you think they knew about all this?
No.
They had their own experience. They write for transparency and accountability surrounding what was going on, especially behind the scenes. According to them, Ume had claimed the artwork as his OC or original character, and with the artist doing a Google search and finding no results, they didn't really suspect stealing, so they, move forward. But the situation didn't end there. Persistent disrespect and mistreatment that the artist experienced from Ume compelled them to speak out. Here's what they say. Quote, he frequently breached terms of service by insisting on minutely detailed and stringent revisions under the gaze of perfectionism. He'd continued to demand overly meticulous adjustments, emphasizing his critical nature toward artistic work. Moreover, his specific request for us to follow exactly the head, hairstyle, and headpiece were clean indications of his intent to base his model on the OG artwork. And when you scroll these DMs and specific messages, I'm like, what? This nigga was obsessed with that design.
Shit, you already know I'm obsessed with it.
I get he's kinda nice, but you gotta let it go. With all this controversy going on, DG's studio regrets the creation of the model, offers sincere apologies, and would move forward to commit to verifying the origins of all references. A lot of things were being said about this guy, none of them good. And then, he faded away from the internet, a distant memory, never to be seen again. Yeah, plot twist, a document dropped 3 months later. Kaito would put out a doc as an apology and explanation. In October 2023, Ume found Yubei's design on Pinterest, fell in love with it, and wanted something very similar with minor changes when getting into VTubing. However, his ultimate stubbornness and wrong beliefs around owning the design, co-opting hairstyles and accessories, falsely claiming he obtained permission to use the OC as a reference, stressing exact perfection on the look, and incessant changes directed at artists breaking TOS would be his downfall. He states that he never intended to upset the people working on the model, was always willing to pay extra if necessary, but after reading experiences from the artists and people involved, he feels genuinely sorry about his actions. There are other things he mentions, like difficulties with verbal expression, dyslexia, not being a native speaker, deleting his account due to the large hate, attacks, and threats he received, and feeling like a terrible person to the point of attempting on his life. After taking time to rebuild himself and grasp the situation, he will return and take accountability and apologize to everyone, Yubei-san, DJ Studios, the artists, everyone. He also addresses other accusations, a tracing accusation from Wildheart that was confirmed false, and his experiences with Madame Mito and Acure VR, where he admits to requesting several different minor changes. He believed everything was fine and kinda wished they'd tell him DMs if the requests were disrespectful, but he ultimately apologizes for hurting them. And that's the gist. So here's my thing. Remember how I said VTubing cares a lot about artistic principles and beliefs? You know what's a very big artistic principle? Don't plagiarize.
I'll take that. It's mine now.
And that is the clearest case I have ever seen for VTuber plagiarism. There's just not an argument against it. The other behaviors, disrespecting artists, the lies, regardless, you're just gonna have to hold that. But I'm glad he's, you know, alive and doing better. Shit like this is heavy, and no matter one's actions or reputation, no one should feel to go down that route. And as always, harassing and death threats are fucking unnecessary. So however he does with returning to streaming, best of luck. But that's enough punching down on small niggas. It personally feels a bit better to punch up on those bigger. Speaking of bigger, if you're a VTuber fan, you've definitely heard of the name Filian, previously a VR chat streamer turned indie VTuber who blew up in popularity to her YouTube shorts, effectively becoming the 4th most popular VTuber in the world, but most notably a lot of merch. Signed posters, shirts and hoodies, U2s, cups, figurines, and plushies. Even got her VTuber skin featured in a racing game. Hi, this is Filian's manager. If you want to make merch of her for conventions, go for it. My manager is me. That should put into perspective how big Filian is. So let me tell you how big of a revelation it was to hear that she never owned the copyright to her design and model. She allegedly never paid money for the model. And one merch event would expose a large tirade of negligence that could have ended far worse for her, because she basically got caught stealing. Enter two parties. Party 1, Good Smile Company. Good Smile is a Japanese manufacturer company that focuses on hobby products like sets, acrylics, and figures. Most notably though, Nendoroid. And if you remember my VTuber merch video and how I feel about Nendoroid, look at this! She's so adorable! They're pretty damn good. And on July 4th, they would announce a Filian Nendoroid. This was expectedly a huge deal. Uh-oh, Filian states, quote retweeting the post. Before, uh-oh, we never got permission from the original Mardo artist for shit like this. Enter Party 2, Jingo. Jingo is a Japanese VR chat artist that sells pre-made models at an affordable price. A good parallel being those pre-made models aspiring VTubers may buy from Etsy. They also sell a pay-to-use model of their original character Rindo for 7,000 yen. Oh, put the two models together and look at that, a toothpick really changes everything. Filian's model isn't even Filian's, but rather a recolored version of Jingo's model. An artist on Twitter posted a meme converting Rindo into Filian's current design in just over 3 minutes. And if you want to know how easy it is to make this 3D design into Filian, it is just that easy. And there's no world where it's enough to claim as your own, or worse, sell merch.
Hey y'all, come look at this.
Copyright 2024 Filian.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Jingo would have a bit to say regarding this Filian and Good Smile deal. Quote, this morning I received many messages about the announcement posted by Good Smile Company about the production of a Nendoroid based on a VTuber who used my Rindo model as a base for their avatar. Since I found out when I was still traveling, it took me a while to figure out what was going on. I did not receive any prior communication from Good Smile Company nor the VTuber in question about the production of this Nendoroid figure. From my point of view, the fact that there was an announcement of plans to professionally produce a figure based on my character, even though I have yet to hear about this, is very puzzling. I am currently in the process of communicating with Good Smile Company and the VTuber in question, and am awaiting a response. Since this situation involves companies, not just individual people, it will take a bit of time for everything to be resolved. I hope you all can understand this. Please wait for the outcome. Let's do a bit of digging into why this was a big issue for Filian. First, in Jingo's terms of service, after the purchase of the model, they permit it for personal use and even video and live streaming use. However, when it comes to tangible goods like merch, you gotta contact. As you can tell, shit never happened. Second, Jingo isn't the only party that Filian had this happen to. What about this Mint model that she used early in her career? She even featured it in racing games and plushie merch. Turns out, this was a refurbished model from another Japanese VR chat artist by the name of Kamado. And they heard about the situation in relation to past merch and relate that they never gave Filian permission around those items. And if you thought it couldn't get worse, people found some other clips.
You are so beautiful. I'm so glad that you like this model that I paid $0 for and I'm using for free.
Maybe some kind soul gifted it to her?
What if I took my VR chat model and I started face tracking with it? So what I did was I went and ripped the model from VR chat illegally. I uploaded it into some software that I downloaded off the internet. And it's a software called Love It. I said, okay,
that was really bad.
So you can imagine why this was a fucking business nightmare. Filian had sold thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of merch off models she knew were someone else's, and she went against TOS and never reached out about this. All of this plus the ripping of shit that's just seen as disrespecting artists. Second, copyright infringement. That is a crime, especially in commercial merchandising situations. We are now in legal territory. Do you understand how seriously the Japanese takes copyright?
You think it's a game? You think it's a f***ing game?
You avoid that altogether. Good Smile saw the giant controversy underway and deleted the announcement right afterwards. Uh-oh, indeed, my nigga! This is a bad situation. Some of y'all may know of the VTuber Neurosama, Vidal987's AI VTuber that blew up in 2023 due to its prompts creating wacky and engaging responses with the stream. At first, Neurosama's model was Momose Hiyori, a default model in VTube Studio, but once business became a foresight, Vidal commissioned VTuber Annie for a transformative redesign. This helped breathe new light in Neurosama and gave her her own base avatar while effectively avoiding potential legal liabilities regarding commercial and merchandising operations. But that's the go-to path. And for the fourth biggest VTuber in the world to let a massive screw up like this happen is just not good. Like, as a brand, there's no excuse you can make for this. You gotta commission your own shit at this point, and you've had years to work this dilemma out. As a result, thousands upon thousands has been gained off of something you don't own. Did Jingo know about the other merch items before this? Her clips claiming she ripped the model? It gets very bad. Filian would make a short response about the situation on her stream.
So real quick, chat. Want to say real quick. So I've been talking to the artist behind the scenes. I don't know if you guys saw her tweet like yesterday, but we're gonna get on proceeding in a way that like protects her rights and it's compliant with the EUA, the EUA. So I'll let you know when there's an update. But with that being said, chat.
And Ringo, after all private conversations, would have their final say on supposedly proceeding. With Jingo's rights, they permit anyone using the model for anything, including indie VTuber activities. However, just because they purchase a booth model doesn't mean they own it. You're effectively renting it. Moreover, any usage of her model in a highly profitable or commercial sense, like production of goods, requires notification in advance, and if one isn't an indie VTuber or from an agency, they have to reach out about the model's usage. Most notably, quote, the part of this that I took issue with was that even though the VTuber did not own the copyright to the character, they proceeded with the project and formed a contract with the company without notifying the original creator of the character in question. As follows, I have requested that the production schedule for this character merchandising product be stopped altogether. I am not after any royalties or other financial incentives. I simply wish to protect the copyright of my characters. To allow this, such as through the sale of copyright licenses, would mean that every character derived from my model would have its own copyright, and as a result, those who use the same models as bases may become in some fucking copyright disputes. They end off reiterating that their booth models are for everyone, not just one person, and as long as the design is not completely one's own, no matter how many changes they make to it, the copyright is non-negotiable because traces of the original author will still remain. So given the entire situation, that's why I said at the beginning shit could have gone a lot worse for Filian, because there's now money involved. Afterwards, the Filian Good Smile project was effectively suspended. Filian Co., her merch website that she had announced in the past, is completely empty now with further merch plans being unknown. Remember that manager tweet she made? Yeah, that's gone too. And I can't really find any further statements or apologies regarding the matter. She just kinda moved on. So was this an honest mistake or gross negligence? Come to your own conclusion, but regardless, that shit's on her. Plus there's that other artist, I didn't see a further response from them. Of course, don't harass, attack, or be dicks to anybody here. But another question, will Filian be getting a new model? If she wants to do merch again, she has to. But hey, if you can joke about breaking that much VR equipment, you definitely got the money to get your own model and not be ripping shit. Before we end the video and all this drama, let's have a moment. Have you ever heard this phrase before when it comes to art? Nothing is original anymore. Let me explain. Due to human history dating back for a damn long time, unless it's a completely new invention, someone somewhere on this planet we call Earth has sparked a product, service, or idea, because everything is built on pre-existing resources from before. Therefore, nothing is original. But as American writer Austin Kleon explains, all creative work builds on what came before. Every new idea is just a remix of two previous ideas. Hell, he even made a book titled How to Steal Like an Artist, because that's what artists do. They take things but emulate it in their own personal style. style. What makes something original is by making your own new and curious combinations. Let's make it very clear. The VTubing industry is oversaturated as all hell. There are hundreds of talented creators who may have a similar attribute to someone who came before or is more popular. And I'm not really a fan of no-names putting down others' creative work for simply being a similar identity, coincidence, or having inspiration. But there's a clear difference between inspiration and straight up stealing shit. Some may say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but sometimes it's the sincerest way of getting caught in 4K.
How did they get you in 4K?
Because that's on you. Ultimately, if you want to become a creator at all, don't let any of this discourage you. Take the knowledge from before in stride, learn from references, and be the best creator you can be. Just have a bit of authenticity. But hey, I seem to really love copying my Oshi Koryex Kenshin.
What the hell are you talking about?
Making a video and then disappearing for months.
He copied my whole flow!